Just like Shadow Sneak from Baynet, we are sneaking up right up behind you for top 4 of this PC here in Norwalk, California. I enjoy making puns. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry they're not good.
That was too funny.
But so, this top 4 match, you will recognize one of these players. His name's Kyle Hudson. We did see him earlier on stream today, and obviously a bunch of you will know who he is. He's actually playing against another one of our locals who hasn't quite had as much success, I think, in this season, but Hector has been trying really hard, and I am so happy to see him in Top Cut right now.
Hector is definitely getting there. He's on the cusp of doing big things.
Yeah, and you know what? This team that he is bringing is, you know, one of those teams you're going to be like, all right.
Yeah, it's some spicy stuff, and I believe that he actually beat Gavin in Costa Mesa with that team. And
did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
So, like, you know, like, there's that potential, there's that ceiling. So now it's up to Hector to show that against Kyle, who has already like proven himself at a local level as like a local top player.
All right, and now it's time for Hector to show that. So Kyle's team once more, we had that really weird, you know, Hydreigon, Charizard, Metagross, Landorus, Alola, Ninetales, I almost called it Vulpix, whoopsies, and Rotom Wash versus Hector's team of Charizard, Tapu Lele, Venusaur, Suicune, Greninja, and Landorus Therian.
Hector's team is dubbed Offset, and that's a team that was made by Alan Martinez, and he has piloted it very well to get a lot of championship points within the SoCal region. And the way the team works is it really preys on opponents not really knowing what to do with the team, because Pokemon like Greninja and Lele are very punishing for players that don't bring the right answers.
Well, and I mean, Greninja, you know, was a Pokemon that you saw a lot of usage when it was first released, and not as much now. But that Protean ability is so useful to be able to kind of like fake out your opponent in terms of like, I'm going to switch my typing and you can't do anything about it. Whereas Suicune, super bulky, and you know, the Venusaur that we saw earlier today with Jackson's Venusaur, that girl was thick and she managed to survive a lot of things. And I'm curious to see, you know, is Hector's Venusaur going to be that same way too? And
I believe Hector's Venusaur is not a Mega from personal experience.
Ooh, alright.
So like, we're going to see some high-speed action maybe.
With a Venusaur, alright. The words I never thought somebody would say, but you know.
I mean, Chlorophyll makes you pretty fast,
This
you know?
is true. Oh, yeah, that's
So it's
true.
like, I guess, like, with stuff like Sleep Powder, I'm not actually sure what move he runs in that slot, but there's a lot of, like, room for creativity with that fast set. We won't be seeing it here, though, because we see...
Hector's going to be leading that Charizard and that Greninja as Kyle leads pretty hyper offensively, I would like to say, with that Metagross and that Landorus, getting the Intimidate into that Charizard and Greninja slot.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how Kyle wants to navigate this lead, because, in a way... Kyle's leads are facing their hard counters like right in front of them. Like Metagross is not going to want to stay against the Charizard, and Landorus does not want to just attack in front of a Greninja without being careful. I really think this is something that Kyle has to think throughly, like, and come up with the best defensive response in this given turn.
I mean, I think Greninja also has the opportunity, you know, if that Charizard does Mega Evolve in this turn, it has the opportunity to set up that Venusaur to just come in and just do some good damage on all of Kyle's Pokemon as well. And, you know, like you said, Kyle having to think about what is he going to do in here. And right now with that Landorus, he's switching it out for the Hydreigon. Doesn't really want to see that Landorus take any sort of damage from here, because we know that Greninja does like to carry some Ice type moves every now and then. And Charizard, why taking control of the battlefield and taking control of that sun, bringing the heat and the fire on Hector's side of the field, thanks to that ability. And that Metagross, you know, we know it's bulky, but is it bulky enough on here?
Yeah, we didn't see it use Protect a single time in like a previous stream match, so maybe this is something that Kyle has accounted for, and he has trained this Metagross to live it. We'll see.
Man, this is gonna be a big turn for Hector right here.
He
able
lives it.
to not quite knock out the Hydreigon with Ice Beam from Greninja, but knocks it out with a Heat Wave from Charizard. And even in the sun, this Metagross on Kyle's side manages to survive. And Kyle, taking that, gets a critical hit Iron Head onto that Greninja. Not quite sure if that critical hit mattered, because Greninja did change into an Ice type.
Yeah, I believe it's inconsequential, especially without the Intimidate. I mean, not that Intimidate really would have done anything, but like, without the Intimidate, like, with the critical hit regardless, I believe the Iron Head would have been able to get a clean knockout anyways.
Yeah, and so I think Kyle was able to, was kind of able to, you know, really capitalize that and just hey, I'm going to sacrifice this Hydreigon, but I'm going to knock out that Greninja because it's the biggest set on the field right now. And so this Landorus going to be hitting the field with that Intimidate once more. Not going to really matter for either of these Pokemon as Hector brings in that Tapu Lele, brings in that Psychic Surge, and I don't think Kyle's ever shown a Psychic-type move that can benefit from this terrain.
Yeah, but I really don't think the first thing on Kyle's mind right now is about attacking, because right now Lele is pressuring Landorus very hard, but you know, the best Lele answer Kyle has is at 25 HP. So this is something that really depends on what Kyle has in the back, but okay, Hector's playing it patiently.
Yeah, and Hector's protecting his Tapu Lele because he wants to keep that around here as Landorus goes for a Rock Slide, does so much damage onto that Charizard. It's going to be enough to, like, you know, easily pick up a KO because that quadruple weakness. Charizard and Volcarona kind of have that same sort of weakness in that sense. Metagross going for an Iron Head once more. I think that's kind of cheeky of Kyle to keep that Metagross in against that Charizard, but I want to say we're pretty sure that Landorus was a Choice Scarf.
Yeah, we are sure, but I believe these players have played before. According to Anthony, that has been the case, and Hector has won the previous set.
Ooh, all right. So, I mean, that kind of happens a lot, like, lately, and I think in our top matches, because our other top 4 match is actually Brian and Riley,
who played
Swiss as well. But now, you know, back to this game. This Venusaur finally getting into that field. Obviously, like you said, not that Mega Evolution because we did see that with Charizard. And the sun is still up here, so Hector has that chance to really benefit from it right now. As Landorus goes for the Rock Slide, Lele
so Venusaur is slower than the Scarf Landorus.
All right, wow. So avoiding that, but Sleep Powder.
Oh, it is Sleep Powder, nice.
You know, Sleep Powder notorious
for
not connecting, and like that is so difficult to like kind of really guess on there. But Hector going for that Psychium Z now, and going to be getting Tapu Lele on Psychic Trade with that Psychium Z. That is scary, scary damage right there.
Yeah, that's going to be very big damage, and it's really difficult to find something that survives Shatter Psyche from Lele. In 17, Lele was less valuable because a lot of Z moves could do that one-shot damage, but in 2018, with bigger stats all around, it's very difficult to get that same level of damage, so suddenly Tapu Lele is a lot more notable as an offensive threat. As we see there, that Landorus just died, basically. It just disappeared. I'm sorry. It was, well, no longer usable for battle, so to speak.
All right, and Kyle's going to want to cool down Hector's fainting streak on his Pokemon by bringing in that Alolan Ninetales and bringing in the Hail as well. So Chlorophyll from Venusaur, I think, just kind of stops working. The mechanic ends after this turn now. I'm not actually sure.
I believe the weather has already come up on the turn before, so Venusaur is already slower than Ninetales.
And so it's going to be protecting this turn, not going to take any sort of Ice-type attack like that Blizzard from this Ninetales. I'm going to be connecting only with this Tapu Lele, which had gone with that Psychic Z before. Does okay damage on there, but goes for the Psychic onto that Metagross. Gonna just knock it out. Not knock it out. I lied. But stays asleep. That 1 HP. What is this? That resistance, even on Psychic terrain. I lied, guys. I am a liar.
that thing lives everything. It lived
except it doesn't live the Hail. I totally forgot about that. What was that?
Oh yeah. All things come to an end.
Including that Metagross. I'm so sorry, but now it's this Ninetales versus this Venusaur and Tapu Lele, and I mean that Blizzard, if it connects, we're gonna see how much damage it does against this Venusaur, which I think not enough to knock it out, which means it's got this option to attack. Uses a berry to get back that health.
So that's bulky Chlorophyll?
That's kind of crazy. So the Psychic from Tapu Lele on train going into this Ninetales is going to be proccing. Not actually quite getting into that range. But Sludge Bomb is enough to sweep up that KO and give Hector game 1 of this top 4 match. That was kind of crazy. It was really fast paced.
Yeah, both players playing slightly non-standard creative picks to try to get openings from the opponent. And when both players try to play that kind of way, you end up with many hyper-aggressive scenarios where, honestly, a lot of decisions are made on the fly, and sometimes, you know, the way the lines of play made by the different players don't line up the same way. So maybe we might even see Kyle trying to do the same thing.
I think for me the hardest part about Kyle's match and Kyle's decisions there was switching out that Charizard that I think that Landorus for the Hydreigon and losing it so early in that round. The trade-off against the Greninja was understandable, but I think in the long run he could have done something else to be able to capitalize more on the fact that Hydreigon has like some high power. It has that Z move, and maybe it can't hit Tapu Lele as hard as it wants to, but it has the ability to kind of just be like, hey, I can do damage.
Yeah, and we can see Hector has already made up his mind. Kyle taking his time more, but if I were Kyle, I think I'll need to think about a different way to use the Metagross, because now Hector knows that this Metagross is special. This, like, not specially offensive, I mean
That
like
Metagross,
very,
like-
very defensive. This is a weird Metagross, and now that Hector knows it, he's not going to let it just live at very low HP.
I think in all the matches we've seen Kyle, I don't think we've actually seen his Charizard, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's crazy, like, to see him pilot in this meta a team without actually ever bringing his Mega Evolution.
It's honestly fascinating to see. Kyle's the kind of player who never placed the most emphasis on building teams constantly. He just takes things that he likes and practices with them until they become very good.
Man, that sounds like a talent, actually, instead of like a skill.
I think it is. I think it's really
definitely a
fascinating.
talent. So going into this game 2 now, so Hector, kind of almost kind of commanding that battle, despite the fact that it was a 2-2 at that last kind of ending. Hector did a really good job of he lost his Greninja, yeah, but he capitalized so much on that fact. Leading with the same Pokemon here that Greninja, Charizard once more as Kyle goes with Hydreigon and Rotom this time. I think I like that adjustment.
This is a much better adjustment going into the exact same leads. But one thing I like to note is that from game 1, Hector has shown that he's willing to do some very long-term thinking to get a very sure and consistent way to win. And that comes from his experience piloting this team since March, February. So I'm wondering if Kyle is able to come up with similar ideas and overcome that matchup weakness / awkwardness that he has shown in game 1.
Yeah, and Kyle showing, I can eat my words now because he brought that Charizard.
He finally
so
brought a Mega.
We get to see if it's actually a Mega. Hey, we thought the Metagross was Mega and it never was. So
Yeah.
maybe he's going no Mega here. But Hector bringing that heat once more with that Charizard Y on his side of the field, and that Hydreigon protecting itself, not going to take that Ice Beam that we know that Greninja now carries, as it goes for low kick instead, actually revealing that now that fighting type on here against that Hydreigon, which has been protected.
Oh.
Solar Beam, which is going to be just a one-turn move because of that sun. Going to be going to that spot where, what Pokemon was it? Oh, that Rotom was. So very good job, I think, on Kyle's side.
Yeah, that was a good switch. With Greninja though, Hydreigon's in a very weird spot because we saw Ice Beam from earlier, and that's just something that heavily threatens not just one, but 2 Pokemon in Kyle's team. And we're not sure if the Landorus is in the back. Obviously, both of them sharing a ice weakness, and combining that with Greninja's Protean ability means that it's going to be very difficult for neither Landorus or Hydreigon to survive the Ice Beam.
Alright, and so Hydreigon being switched out for the Landorus, going to get Intimidate into both of Hector's Pokemon as Kyle finally reveals his Mega Pokemon. It is that Mega Charizard Y. The sun is already up, but that doesn't mean he can't bring more heat on here. So really good call on Kyle, I think, to switch that out.
Yeah.
As that Greninja goes for the low kick, and Kyle's Charizard goes first, gets the knockout on the Greninja. Does okay damage onto that Charizard on Hector's side, and Charizard on Hector's side also matching that heat wave.
Landorus
Oh,
taking
that's
big
a lot
damage
of
too.
damage onto that Landorus, man.
Yeah,
I
so-
appreciate the switch in a lot.
Yeah, that was actually based on team information, I think, because if Kyle had a suspicion that Hector's Greninja was able to switch its moves, then maybe that switch wasn't as good. It seemed risky when I first saw it, but maybe Hector's Greninja is running Choice Scarf. Maybe it's something that is maybe it's limited to its moves until it switches out.
I mean, we won't know unless they go to that like game 3 because that Greninja has fainted. But that Venusaur is going to be coming in for that fallen Greninja. That Chlorophyll ability going to really help it, I think, right here. As Charizard on Hector's side of the field going to be protecting itself. We know that Kyle's Landorus loves to use that Rock Slide move right there. Not going to connect with that Charizard and knock it out, but will connect with the Venusaur. You know, maybe crossing your fingers for that flinch. When there's a Rock Slide, there's a way. And I guess it flinched! What do you know? Oops.
Oh my
sorry, I
God.
didn't mean to jinx him that way.
That was a
Heat
very
wave.
crucial
Yikes.
flinch.
My bad.
Ouch.
That was
Because I'm sure Hector's plan was to sleep powder into the Charizard,
Yeah.
but you know, I guess that's what happens when you trade off speed for more bulk. Because I think what Hector's trying to do with that set is get a more switchable Venusaur that can still go faster.
I feel a little bit bad because the minute I said that, the Venusaur flinched. Oops.
It's the game.
Yeah, and you know, like you said, that really opens it up for that, and Hector's gonna have to really climb back and figure out how he's gonna fix this.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hector.
So I wonder if Hector's Charizard is going to protect here because Landorus is scarfed and
It
it.
just protected last turn, didn't it?
Oh wait, then it's gonna rock slide again. Yeah, never mind.
Landorus
My apologies.
Landorus is free to rock side here, and I mean, Kyle still has
Double protect fails,
Double
yeah.
protect. We're gonna say bye to the Charizard because that quadruple weakness is just so sad.
Wow, this game ended just as fast as the first one.
It's kind of crazy.
Like,
I mean,
it's not over yet, but this is going to end really soon, I think.
yeah, that Heat Wave gonna be connecting with there. That single target Heat Wave in the side is gonna be obviously enough to get
Yeah.
that knockout on here, forcing us to this game 3. That was a crazy fast game.
Wow, great adaptation from Kyle.
Yeah.
I legitimately thought when he switched Hydreigon for Landorus, he was making a mistake, but like clearly he knew better about Hector's team and like the way the Greninja works, so that he could do it without taking any risk. Good for him.
Yeah, and he like I think Kyle did such a better job preserving his Pokemon on this match, and I mean I think maybe even if that Rock Slide hadn't made it flinch, there's still the chance that the Sleep Powder could have missed. And that's something you kind of can't discount. So you know Hector could have come back with that, or
I think
Kyle maybe still would have like been able to connect the Heat Waves. And I mean we know that like you know he's got Will-O-Wisp on that Rotom, so you could have connected that on there too.
Hector
But-
making a selection very fast.
You know, I think if Hector goes with the same 4 Pokemon, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Those same 4 are so strong together.
Yeah.
They work really well.
Maybe Hector's thinking, I lost because of that crucial flinch. I think if I didn't flinch that turn, I would have been in a favorable spot. And, you know, that is totally justified.
I like honestly, I think Kyle's second match, like even besides that Rock Slide flinch, I think those 4 Pokemon that he brought were the. I think. Wait, do we only know 3? No, we know all 4 of them. I think those 4 were the best bet for him because that Ninetales and that Metagross can't really do anything for Kyle in this matchup.
Yeah, like the game 1 selection where he brought 2 fiery Pokemon versus the Charizard team felt a little bit awkward defensively, but I don't think he's going to do the same thing because in game 2 he hasn't, and that has obviously helped him claw back the game and even the set.
Yeah. Well, it's really nice. Like even if that Metagross, you know, it had survived a couple of those attacks from Hector's side of the field, but I think Kyle understanding, hey, this Greninja has other option moves. If I can predict the moves it's going to use correctly, then I can use that to my advantage.
Right.
And without sacrificing a slot, like using that Metagross or that Ninetales.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if Ninetales really has a place in this game plan, especially because I want Kyle to bring a Charizard Y. I think having that Mega Evolution in like this kind of matchup is pretty crucial because
Ooh. Okay.
I got Metagross.
All
Famous
right.
last
Yeah.
time.
So no, not
Game
the-
1, right?
Yeah. Well, a little bit like game 1, I think. It was actually Landorus Metagross, I think, game 1.
Oh, yeah.
But Hector does keep the same lead, which I completely respect because it's been working out for him so well. Kyle mixing up a little, has Hydreigon Metagross out on the field here. And, you know, I actually really respect that because Greninja's going to have to make one of 2 choices. It's going to Ice Beam or it's going to Low Kick something or it's going to have to switch out.
Yeah, I think Kyle's going to have to play this turn somewhat defensively, but once he does that, I feel like the information he gets will put him in a better position.
Yeah, and don't forget, like, the Metagross has survived that Heat Wave from before. So Hydreigon actually switching out for the Landorus, going to be intimidating the Greninja and the Charizard. Going to be more important on that Greninja because of, like, that high attack that it has. As Charizard Y going to be taking the field once more, bringing that sun and that heat, bringing the fire. It has been a very long day for me, people. But all these that heat wave gonna be boosted, like even in that boosted sun, that Metagross is managed to hold on. But Greninja
Rock Slide.
using Rock Slide
Oh
now.
my god.
Gonna be connecting with both the Pokemon here. Does okay damage on here. Maybe the flinch for flinch right here, right now.
We've seen 3 attacks from
Critical hit
Greninja
on
so
Metagross,
far.
but Heat Wave, I think is actually gonna be enough to pick out the knockout here. It's just enough chip damage to knock it. Oh no!
Oh.
What the heck? But it gets
Oh! Wow.
I feel like this is 2 times I've called flinches. and I
Where
feel
there's
really
a rock
bad.
slide, there's a
But
way.
yeah,
Oh my
like,
god.
Oh my gosh, that was ridiculous. That was a really good turn for Hector right there. Now it's my turn to apologize. I'm really sorry, Kyle.
This really showcases the utility of Rock Slide as a move. Even if the damage it does, especially on most users of it, is not very powerful, the fact that it can inflict that 30% flinch chance is incredibly strong, regardless of how much damage it does.
I feel really bad. That's 2 rock slide pinches that I've jinxed.
Yeah.
But Bullet Pinch, from Metagross onto that Greninja is going to be super effective damage and not quite enough to pick up that knockout, but that Rock Slide once more is going to knock out this this Metagross. The Hydreigon's going to be holding on.
Is that a critical
not
hit?
quite sure if it's going to be.
Yeah,
it is. Ooh. Yikes. But
What a
I
high variance
think-
game.
But I think, yeah, this Heat Wave might be enough to pick it up even because of that Sun boost. Oh, no. So close.
It was very close
Is-
though. A
is
single
still
target
low
boost
HP.
was definitely putting it in that near death, near KO scenario.
I mean, that critical hit definitely helped too from that Rock Slide. But I think you're right. I think that Greninja might be a choice scarf Greninja because going for that Rock Slide once more when you've got that Heat Wave on your Charizard against that like Hydreigon that was switched in.
I'm really liking the way Hector is playing through this because I think in games 1 and 2, the fact that Kyle's Landorus was faster than Hector's Venusaur was actually very problematic because we didn't see the flinches except once, but if it happened more than that, he might have even lost like more turns like on a turn-by-turn basis. So I really like the fact that Greninja's here attacking first, and Landorus is already so low, so the Rock Slide going first will likely KO this.
Yeah, it's going to be knocking out both of the Pokemon here, so Hector going to be cleaning up this side of the field, that 2 KO.
Wow.
Going to leave whatever Kyle has in the back, and Heat Wave from Charizard not going to be connected with anything because there's nothing for it to hit, so Kyle's last Pokemon versus all of Hector's Pokemon, and I'm going to guess that he brought the same 4.
Yeah.
You know what? If that Greninja's faster, it's not gonna matter. This Rock Slide.
Kyle has to bank on a miss, but even then, it's not like Hector is going to be very behind.
Yeah.
This game.
This Charizard's not gonna have a lot of offensive pressure in comparison to everything else.
Yeah.
But cross your fingers because as long as you have a Pokemon out there, the game's not over until you click forfeit or faint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Greninja's gonna go for Rock Slide. That's very much
Yeah, and no miss from
being the
from
same
Charizard
type.
there. Oh, it survived.
That is very bulky.
Oh my goodness! And this Charizard on Kyle's side using Heat Wave, but Hector's Charizard is still at full health. And now you're just banking on rolls here as Heat Wave does not quite miss on Kyle's, does connect, gets that 6 HP knockout. So a very good game 3 from Hector. That was scary, ridiculous. Those flinches, man.
A very dominant adaptation. I'm sure not all of it was fully done as intended,
Yeah.
but it was a very dominant show, I think. And honestly, congrats to both players for being so passionate and driven enough to fight till the very end, but congrats to Hector for making it to the finals.
Yeah,
and
that is crazy, but like Kyle, using such a weird random team, like I have been sucker punched by that. So it's just so I actually don't know if Bayonetta can win sucker punch. I just assume
It probably can.
It probably can.
Yeah.
Let's pretend it does.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I love when those matches get to game 3 because then you really see what happens when you're pushed up against the wall like that. And I think Kyle's adjustments were odd in that last match, but I think it was banking on a lot of like Hector bringing the same Pokemon and knowing now that Charizard had Solar Beam against his Rotom, like that's not something you really want to break.
Yeah, and I also think in Game 3, Hector brought the same Pokemon, but he completely changed the way he played it. So I honestly think that was like surprising and like I just didn't expect it. I just think it's amazing. Well, like great job to him.
Yeah, so we will see you guys in finals. It'll be Hector versus
Finals,
whoever
finals,
wins.
let's go.
Whoever wins the match between Brian and Riley is gonna be your finals match. So don't go anywhere. Hang tight, and we will see you in a little bit for finals, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.